Ahead tonight, upgrades on the way for airports in the southern Bahamas. And coming up in sports, regatta fever continues in Andros and Exuma this weekend. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts right now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Good Sunday evening, everyone. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Thanks so much for making us a part of your holiday weekend. Here's what's making news. We begin tonight with news on air travel that might interest you, as the Bahamas has now acceded to all 3 of the agreements needed to facilitate the air passenger information system that allows the exchange of information to our border management agencies in advance of passengers getting on a plane to fly here. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, signed the agreement in Runaway Bay, St. Lucia on Friday during the meetings of foreign ministers of CARICOM, also known as COFCOR. Now, he spoke with us by telephone this afternoon and noted that the Bahamas is one of the last island states to sign on to this regional memoranda of understanding and what this now means for travelers to and from the Bahamas.
We, as you know, are moving to the next generation of border management equipment in the Bahamas. We've just indicated to a firm that they had to be the vendors, and we are in the midst of planning over the next 18 months to replace the existing border management system, which will allow for and facilitate what we've just signed. The information is actually centered in the United States, and there are certain agreements which have to be signed with CARICOM in order to effect those exchanges of information, and we've now done that. And as I understand it, this will now make it possible for that information to be obtained.
And to even more on airline travel this Sunday, with tourism officials on an aggressive hunt to get more heads in beds, the government anticipates upgrading gateways nationwide to accommodate an increase in visitor arrivals. The airports in New Bight, Cat Island, and San Salvador are on that list. Deputy Prime Minister and the Member of Parliament for San Salvador and Cat Island, the Honorable Philip Davis, recently told ZNS News that a bid is about to be tendered for the reconstruction of Cat Island's New Bight Airport in about 2 weeks. And once completed, Mr. Davis believes those improvements should complement the multi-million-dollar PGA development whose construction has been stalled.
It's been indicated by the Ministry of Transport that the Stantec, our aviation advisors, are in the advanced stages of completing schematics for what is to happen not only here in San Salvador but other critical airports throughout the Commonwealth.
Well, on to other Family Island news. Tonight, our news team was on the scene of an accident in central Exuma last night that resulted in major telephone and power disruptions. Charles Fisher has the latest.
BEC and BTC services here on the island of Exuma coming to a stoppage last night lasted for more than 8 hours as a traffic accident cost it all. Randy Smith, technical manager here on Exuma, explains it all.
Sometime last night, around 11:30, there was a vehicle traveling in the southerly direction, and around that time it came in contact with BEC electrical pole, which has our main fiber optic cable that provide service to the southern end of the island. Right now we are about 80% complete. Our team, as you can see, is working feverishly trying to restore, and hopefully we'll, like I said, we'll be back up in the next probably hour or so.
What was the extent of the damage?
So we had to replace our fiber optic cable, so 36 strand, and that, like I said, that actually supplied all of our internet, cell, and broadband services.
A word of caution to motorists here on the island: please drive with extreme caution and care, because the life you save may be your very own. For the ZNS News Network in Exuma, I'm Charles Fisher.
We want to reiterate that advisory just issued by Charles, and this time from police nationwide, as they're issuing a holiday advisory to all motorists. Authorities remind drivers that they run the risk of killing or seriously injuring themselves, their passengers, or an innocent road user if you speed, drink and drive, fail to wear your seatbelt, drive carelessly or dangerously. Motorists are also being urged to take into account of increased traffic levels over the holiday period and heed to all road safety warnings. Well, taxi drivers here in New Providence are apparently facing challenges, noting the Ministry of Tourism's hefty marketing investment on the premise that it's better in the Bahamas. President of the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union, Philip Watkins, told us that he's saddened by the fact that visitors are confronted with issues that do not need to be a part of their overall travel experience. He identified one of those issues as hacking, which he says continues to be a challenge for both visitors and taxi drivers.
You can expect as a taxi driver to see Mr. Curry or Mr. Marshall on the side waiting for them. You can expect that at a particular time of the year. But there are foreign drivers at the airport. Foreign drivers can very easily speak little English. And they are at the airport every single day the Lord sent, 8 days a week, from Sunday to Sunday. They don't take a day off, Sunday, 8 days a week. And when you approach them, they are meeting their family. Now, we live in the Bahamas. We have family from all the islands. And we don't be there every day meeting family all day. Now, somebody playing some games somewhere.
Watkins claims hackers have now locked down most of western New Providence, making it hard for taxi drivers to make a living from the airport all the way to Cable Beach. Expressing extreme frustration about the situation, President Watkins made this suggestion.
When I get to the airport every single day the Lord sent, and I say I'm picking up my family, I ought to know the name of my wife. I ought to know the name of my children that are with her. And so let me wait right on the outside. Let some personnel from the government locate my wife and children inside that building, and then call me on my cell that I could pull up and pick up my family. But it's very disingenuous to the legitimate taxi driver on the line.
It's being billed as a cutting-edge move in the financial services sector. On Friday, the Central Bank of the Bahamas went live with its online reporting and information management system. The new financial regulatory technology, strategically implemented by Visor, will provide comprehensive business intelligence to the central bank, as well as significantly improve data collection, validation, storage, as well as reporting. All central bank licensees are now required to file regulatory returns in the new ARMS solution, which supports the complete return life cycle and provides comprehensive corporate profiles for all regulated entities. While the weekend edition continues, find out more about a new book the Prime Minister received last week. That story and more on the next side of the break.